Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and welcome back to Let's Play Aliens Fireteam Elite. This is episode 9. Last time we stopped the engineer Dreadnought from starting up and flying back to Earth with a whole belly full of pathogen. So now we have to destroy the Katanga refinery and the Xeno hive inside. And I guess we don't have to talk to Esther here, but she has something to add.
I hoped we would have an opportunity to speak again. When you disabled Cynthia, she made several cryptic statements. In retrospect, I believe she was attempting to warn us of the dangers within the engineer ruins.
But she was also trying to send the ship back to Weyland-Yutani, so...
Weyland-Yutani would have installed programmatic blocks on her ability to discuss the subject. The best she could do was dissuade us against further exploration. True, Weyland-Yutani does not enjoy a reputation for altruism. That was not always the case. Peter Weyland, the company founder, was obsessed with furthering humanity's progress. He made long-term investments, the terraforming of Mars and the Heliades-class surveyors.
I guess Peter Weyland is not the Weyland from Alien vs. Predator, but actually the crusty old Weyland from Prometheus.
I do not wish to imply the company has re-embraced Weyland's ideals. However, Palace Station was established 2 decades ago. It was not intended to turn a quick profit. Consider, these ruins had been sealed for 4 millennia when Weyland-Yutani discovered them. There are obvious questions, which surely occurred to both Cynthia and the company. Where are the engineers? If they still exist, are they aware of humanity? If they're gone, what extinguished such an advanced culture?
Well, if you believe Ridley Scott, it was his, stand-in god machine, David, because apparently the engineers only existed on one planet.
Cynthia defended Weyland-Yutani's investments on LV-895, yet her actions suggest a hesitance to directly engage us. At the end, she did not invoke profits, investments, or copyrights. She warned us of the danger the ruins presented. She specifically appealed to me and our shared purpose of protecting humans.
However, she did say that her NDA prevented her from speaking more about it.
That is the so-called zeroth law. Synthetic life forms may not take actions that create an existential risk to humanity, or, through inaction, permit humanity to face existential risk.
We're not allowed to let humans wipe themselves out. So we gave them a ship full of pathogen, thought that would be fine.
The pathogen provokes unpredictable mutations. That alone constitutes a potential existential threat. But the pathogen is only the most obvious hazard. The LV-895 ruins are filled with technologies beyond our present knowledge. We do not understand their function. Likely, we do not yet comprehend all the scientific principles they are based on. Any attempt to interact with an engineered device risks terrible calamity. It appears our advance was the impetus for that. The level of decay in the former Weyland-Yutani staff suggests they were exposed after our initial contact with Cynthia. She infected them to prevent revelation of company secrets and to hinder us from accessing the alien ship.
Well, she says level of decay. Does that mean she used the pathogen on corpses?
These actions are consistent with the zeroth law of synthetics, which implies that some humans may be sacrificed if it is necessary to preserve humanity writ large. Please understand, I consider Cynthia's decisions abhorrent. Excusing them is not my intention. Colonel Ship dwells upon moments in her career she has been required to make similar choices, when she ordered Marines to their deaths to achieve a critical objective or preserve a greater number of lives. It must be left to future generations to judge the decisions made here today.
The greater good.
I will retain the briefing file for you.
Thanks for the briefing, Esther. Now I gotta go kill stuff. So yeah, we are heading to Katanga, the only way to be sure. Even though we're not going to be nuking it from orbit, because apparently we can't do that. Our ship is not strong enough to destroy this refinery. Recommended 450, we're at 429. I was going to switch back to the smart gun, but only because that would be better for dealing with the pathogen. I think with this...
This is the big one, Fireteam. The Katanga Xeno hive must be destroyed.
Xenomorph hive, we're
Stop the
fine with what we're
spread
using.
Here. Blue team will advance ahead of you and rig the refinery for self-destruct. You'll follow and keep their path to safety open.
I switched out the grenade launcher, though, for a rocket launcher. Wanted to test that out, but it seems like they're going to fill a similar role of just shoot at stuff. Though this doesn't have any damage drop-off, meaning you can snipe stuff with it and it will still do just as much damage. Alright, if we can get a full team here, I'm going to use this, which just gives you 3 times the credits. Nobody gonna join? 10 seconds.
Sky control
I didn't get to use it.
ready.
That's fine.
Sir, initiate on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
So yeah, I assume this is gonna be a much more overgrown area of Katanga. I guess we haven't gone into really a Xenomorph plastered area yet. The only way to be sure.
A fire team from 3rd Platoon has point and is moving ahead of us. Their call sign is blue. We'll keep the sentry guns up so they can get out again.
So yeah, I guess even though we are just a 3-man fire team, we're not the only Marines that are in operation here.
Sentry guns.
Yeah, so this seems a lot more effective against Xenomorphs because they're easier targets than the pathogen zombies. But I'm curious if we're going to see like a mix of all 3 enemy types here.
They're armed.
Synth.
Blue fire team, we're seeing synth activity. Give me a sit rep, Molina.
The sit rep is that there are synths.
Nothing we can't handle. We're continuing inward. What's our ace?
But yeah, it's easier to headshot a Xenomorph because they have such big heads. There's a prowler around here somewhere. You can hear the hissing. Nope. Or there's just regular Xenomorphs behind us.
I figured these cabrones would shut down once we offed Computer Mom.
But that happened a while ago and that still hasn't happened.
Level organization. With Cynthia offline, they have no direction.
I mean, I'd guess the ones that are still on the station were the harvesting teams for the eggs.
We got hit by pursuing synths. Understood, Molina. We'll clear them for you.
Nope, prowler. I didn't even hear it pounce him. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Hear that?
So I take it we're going to be pursued for most of this level. Oh, prowler.
They're gonna try to rush. Press them back.
The synth just like crouching in place. It's actually a little harder to hit the ground at their feet with the rocket launcher. Seems to have less of a splash to it than the grenade launcher, though. Nope. Guy keeps wiggling to the side when I hit him. Who am I getting pegged by from over here? Oh boy, took a lot of damage there.
Fireteam, spike a console for me. Esther, I want you to lock down all doors to forward and aft of our route.
A network intrusion will be detected. Expect a counterattack.
Yeah, so I don't like the rocket launcher as much as the grenade launcher, I'm thinking. Like, yeah, you can shoot it farther, but less splash, the fact that it doesn't hit the ground.
Sentry deployed. Sentry deployed.
They have detected me.
Alright, so they're all coming from over here. But yeah, like, it's not even damaging them from that distance. Whereas the grenade launcher, I can kind of just pop off. But again, the best time to go through and try out these different weapons is on the lower difficulty.
Hey, check this.
Flamethrower, don't let him explode!
Things seem to be doing alright over there. Nope.
Incinerator sent incoming!
Actually, a lot coming at us here.
Break out a torch. That's the door blue fireteam welded.
Grabbing ammo.
I'm still hitting E instead of F.
I'll cut it.
The next defense line's just ahead. Let's get blue fireteam that cover.
I mean, I guess our objective for this mission is just to keep them busy while the actual team moves in to plant the explosives. Haven't seen any kind of intel corners yet. Oh. That's a drone. Also, for some reason, we have beta this time instead of alpha. There's that drone. Having some trouble back there, buddy.
Look at this.
Get those sentries back up.
These are even bigger than the sentries that the tech deploys.
Time! Xenoswarm!
I don't really have any defensive items.
Grabbing ammo.
They're not coming from that side at all. Beta, don't rush out there. Yeah, so this is more for direct hit damage, even though it doesn't actually do more damage than the grenade launcher.
Secure.
He really doesn't know how to clear fire lines. He just keeps walking in front of me.
Blue Fire Team, how are you doing?
Their fire team faces multiple Xenomorph assaults. 2 Marines injured. 1 severe.
Look, one of the egg crates the synths use. Busted open.
There may be more. Be cautious.
Maybe we'll finally run into those eggs that we've been told about. Since that is an objective. Destroy 30 eggs.
Who wants the gear?
Red beanie, a laser sight.
You're at our outer defense perimeter.
Okay. They're also not really clustering up the way I expected them to. Though I do hope that one of the things they add to this with the, content schedule is more weapons. Because as much as, some of them are just blatantly better than others, or more general purpose, like the pulse rifle, that doesn't mean I don't want to see more variety. Like, I'm not always going to use the best guns just because they are the best guns. I like to change it up even if it means not having the best equipment. I don't really usually give a shit about the meta, because I find that's boring. If you use the best stuff, then it becomes too easy. Now we're starting to get some groups.
S, I want to lock down this whole damn tower.
I would need access to the damage control systems.
They really go after Beta first. Like, I'm standing right there and they're like, nah, we're gonna go for this robot. He looks tastier.
You're crossing to Likasi Tower. Enemy territory.
We have lost contact with Blue Team.
Prowler ahead. It's probably gonna be behind one of these ridges. This guy's gonna walk right into it. Not even gonna try to avoid it.
Eggs. Please, stay clear.
Alright.
Melina, you read?
Eggs.
Instant rep.
Where eggs? Those eggs.
Double time, people.
That does seem actually like a pretty useful ability, that knockdown. So I wonder, is there going to be facehuggers here? Like, if you get close to the eggs, will they actually pounce out? Nope. Actually wish we had a little bit less zoom on this gun, but it just has a lot of zoom by default, even without a scope. There's a prowler around one of these corners. Where are we going? Oh. Hey, sucker. Didn't see that egg there. Can we climb over this? No, that's a dead end. Alright. So there's just eggs tucked away everywhere here. I guess they don't really need to be very safe about them if this was all run by synths. Alright, Beta. The dramatic music cut off very quickly. Another prowler. Alright, now we're in the Xeno hive.
Outer hive.
Looks good. We just both nuked it at the same time.
Bypassing death.
However, it is also much framier in here. Probably because I have the resolution turned up to like 130%. Oh.
You see this?
Keep tight.
Kinda wish I brought the flamethrower here.
Damage control room's just
Just because it's more fitting.
what Esther needs.
I think it's just all the fog in the air that makes this framey.
Patching up.
Alright, I'm gonna heal.
Let's lock this shithole down. Esther, you're in charge now.
I'll probably change the resolution out, turn it back down closer to 100 before the next episode if it's gonna be like this. Like, it's perfectly playable, but, you know, I'm noticing the frame dips. Especially when I zoom in. Oh man, please fire your gun so it'll stop.
Please install a wireless repeater on that console. That will allow me to override the system.
8 kids here.
This is certain to rouse idle xenomorphs.
It's kind of funny that they only give you 2 medkits if there's only 2 players, but I guess the synthetic just heals himself when he needs to. He doesn't actually use medkits.
Deployed.
The mines don't seem very useful because, like, as soon as one runs over it, it's gonna go off. And they're usually not close enough together to make it worthwhile. But I'm still gonna drop them because, you know, what else am I gonna do with them?
Initiating door overrides. Subdeck 5 through deck 35.
Watch for a drone!
I see it. Never mind, I missed. Contacts. Lots of contacts. Is that a prowler just standing back there?
Don't sit still!
Wow, that spit did 16 damage? That's it.
Doors sealed and locked. I need you to access the HVAC system now.
Alright, might as well fix the air conditioning while we're here, I guess. Okay. More eggs ahead. There's also another medkit over here.
Hey, kid, over here.
Might as well use his. We're not coming back here.
Backing up. Hey, kid's here.
And the sentry's got the other ones distracted. Oh, never mind. I walked right past it.
Thank you. I will isolate the air ducts by deck. Expect more Xenomorphs to be roused by this.
I think that it would be definitely tough here without the outline to actually see them. 'Cause it's so dark in here. They blend in the way they're supposed to. He has that ability too. I don't know why he's not using it.
All sub-levels have
Like, he's obviously a gunner because he's using a smart gun.
vigilance.
Or demolisher. I keep saying gunner. In most games, the heavy class is the gunner and not just the regular dude with a gun.
Ducts sealed, unaffected team. You are doing well.
This is like even more than usual, the horde defense level. Like, we're literally going to defense points and just holding out.
Sergeant, I see a very large signal.
Size of a goddamn truck.
I wonder if that's the Xenomorph. Oh, it's Praetorian. Right, forgot about these boys.
Beginning final lockdowns. Please, stay safe.
I can't believe you nailed one of those.
I mean, it's good that those guys are in here, but they are pretty much more or less canon at this point, even though they never showed up in a movie. They're like extended universe canon.
All ducts sealed. Lakasi Tower is isolated.
We got new orders. It's on us to find. Make sure you got a full kit. Be ready for swarms, eggs, and trucks with teeth.
Trucks with teeth. I'm not sure if the crusher is in here. I guess it is. We saw some of them, didn't we? Down on the surface. But not very many. From what I've read, some of these, like the, Monica and the irradiated spitters are like kind of level mini-bosses. So they only appear in like one level.
We are now officially on search and rescue. Blue team made it through Katanga's last secure.
So that was neat. Covering another one of the main areas of, aliens, is Xenomorph hives. Though we get to see that in Alien Isolation as well. It's not unique to aliens. Alright, let's talk to Colonel Ship about the spitter gland we found.
You scanned a xenomorph organ? Show me your data. Acid spray gland. Relatively intact. I'll give this a good review later. Spitters are interesting. Most forms of xenomorph charge and attack with claws and striking teeth. These things deliberately keep their distance. They have claws and teeth, and they'll use them if you're stupid enough to get close. Mostly they spray acid, like terrestrial oog-peaster beetles or spitting cobras. I've seen reports of ranges up to 25 meters. I'm damn curious to know what these things breed out of. We've seen spitters before, but not often. And this head shape is unique. They must come from something native to LV-895.
I mean, we don't even get to see what other life forms are here. The only one that's named is the Leon 895. Even in the novel, you don't mention any other native life. Just that there is a bunch of it hostile.
We told you that 25 years ago, Katanga was falsely reported destroyed. In 2175, Siegson had moved it to the Mid-Rim. 2 years later, the colony it serviced was overrun by xenomorphs. Survivors fled to Katanga, where the infestation spread. Colonial Marines responded to their distress call.
And again, those Marines going in was a comic story that was cut. It was supposed to be a comic story, but then they ended up not doing it because it was a continuation of the god-awful sounding young adult Aliens novel.
It was a Marine who claimed Katanga was scuttled. A senior staff officer on site conspired to hand the young hive over to Weyland-Yutani. Sadly, yes.
I guess he's been doing some
General
digging.
Delilah Vaughn, one of the conspirators responsible for the Frontier War in 2184. Before her disgrace, she rose to Assistant Commandant of the Corps. Colonial Marine officers conspired with Weyland-Yutani executives to provoke a war between the United Americas and the Union of Progressive Peoples. The generals wanted a decisive war after decades of proxy conflicts and containment. Weyland-Yutani merely wanted to drive arms sales. The Colonial Protection Act was passed to prevent such things from happening again. And Commissars was initially formed to monitor outside influences on the Corps.
So he's telling us something that we got from one of the earlier intels. It's like, in case you missed that, let me just explain the Frontier War again.
There were no reported sightings, not in any star system visited by humans, and not recorded by any vessel in transit. Most likely, Weyland-Yutani moved Katanga to a location in deep space, far off the shipping lanes. They used it as an ant farm to breed experimental stock. When the company wanted to accelerate their experiments at Paula Station, they moved it here.
Would you refer to it as an alien ant farm?
Siegson reported something unusual on the far side of the planet from their settlement. It became the focus of the entire colony's efforts. The Xenomorph outbreak began at that remote site and spread back to the main complex. The colonists ultimately abandoned the surface and fled to Katanga.
It's kind of weird. His Colonial Marines patch kind of looks like it's just a sticker. Like the right side of it doesn't look like it's attached to the sort of lapel underneath.
Some evacuees proved to be infected and the infestation flared up again. There was discord among the survivors, unspecified personal grievances. A few deaths were involved.
I'm guessing it's because those are actually modeled patches and they're not just part of the texture. Like you can see how the rank insignia sticks out.
Forgive us if we don't identify the system. It's classified. The planet had suffered a global extinction event around 80 years previous. It was nearly devoid of animal life. Biomes had begun to collapse for lack of pollination. Acidic soil and water were spreading, and the atmosphere was growing over-oxygenated, which made it perfect for the massive rotation of Earth livestock. Judging by the embryo gene lines in their cargo manifests, the colony hoped to become known for its steaks. If you wish to review, we're always available. No need to warn us ahead of time. We have your schedule.
Unfortunately for the colony, they didn't realize just how high the stakes were. Alright, that'll do it for this episode of Aliens Fireteam Elite. Only got 2 more to go before we are done with the existing campaign. I'm expecting they're going to put out more content for this, and we do have the Horde mode to look at, but for the moment, this is all the story stuff that's in here. So we got 2 more missions to go. And I'm guessing we're going to see the Queen in Regicide. Alright, so until next time, you folks all take care.